Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Double 18 podcast. Happy Monday to you, wherever you might be. I'm your host, Stephen Negishi, and with me, as always, is my co-host from The Awful Announcing, the associate editor and contributor from the show. Ken Fang is joining me once again. Ken, thank you very much. Good evening, and hope you had a wonderful St. Patrick's weekend.
It was as always. It was always busy. There's never enough days in the weekend, and it's good to be on with you again. And I like to say that for this particular show, we have a very special guest on with us today. We'll get to her in just a second. But Stephen, a lot of things happening this over the last. We weren't on last week. We were off because
I was recovering from a stomach flu myself, and I had to take a little bit of liberty out of myself to fully recover. So my thanks to you for understanding on short notice.
No problem. Hey, it worked out fine.
It worked out pretty well. I'm feeling 100% much better now. So
that's excellent. So just to let you know, we have a special guest today. We haven't had a guest in a couple of weeks. She is one of a person who I've known for quite some time. We haven't really talked face to face. This is really the first time we've done so. We've known each other on social media for quite some time. Let's bring her in right now, Stephen. Let's bring in Ana Jurka, formerly from Telemundo. She is now doing her own thing on YouTube. So Ana, thank you for joining us, and great to have you on. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've dealt back and forth on social media, but it's great to finally talk in person with you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. It's so finally great to see your face, Ken, and nice meeting you, Stephen. Thank you so much for having me.
It's excellent to have you on. And one of the reasons why, and as you can see, if you've watched Telemundo, you've seen on us, I think basically going back to 2013, whether she has covered World Cups, Olympics, whether she's been on Casa on Telemundo, whether she's covered the Billboard Latin Music Awards, whether she's covered entertainment. She's done it all pretty much for Telemundo, and we're going to be talking to her a little bit about why she left and why she's now doing her own thing. She has her own studio on YouTube. We'll talk about that and plug it because that's what we like to do, plug things as well. But Ana, thanks for joining us. And Ana, how's the last 3 months since you've left Telemundo? How's it been for you?
Thank you. My gosh, you have good memory, or you do a great homework. Because yes, it's been. It's been a while. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. And today when you posted that 2016 clip,
yes,
I was like, oh my gosh, it was such a long time ago. And just before, Stephen, chamomile tea, okay? Whenever your stomach, chamomile tea.
Chamomile tea again.
It does wonders. I don't know why. Chamomile tea. I always recommend it. I love chamomile tea. But this past 3 months, it's been a real test to my patience because I've been learning to do a lot of stuff, and I'm very patient in certain things. And when it comes to others, when I have to like sit around and do nothing but waiting, oh my gosh, it drives me crazy. Or whenever I take a long time doing one specific thing, it's like I'm learning how to edit. And a lot of friends tell me, Ana, I can do it for you. I'm not going to charge you. Give it to me. I'll do it. And I'm like, no, I need to do it myself. And I'm learning a lot. And it's been like a mind blowing in a lot of other areas, because I knew that potential till certain point of social media platforms, but I didn't know for sure, because I was with my security blanket, the paycheck every month from a big corporation. So I kind of knew, but it didn't really quite know the potential of everything. So it's kind of like a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster of emotions and learning, and it's been really exciting.
That's fantastic. You also have two boys at home, two sons, two beautiful sons, by the way. I follow
Thank
you on
you.
social media, so I get to see those pictures of them every once in a while. So how's it been,
Thank you.
actually now spending some time at home with them now, full time?
Oh, that's the best part. That is the best part. Like, let's say this past week, we went to Haines City, St. Augustine, Daytona,
Oh, nice.
Lake Wales, everything in Florida, because they had a spring break,
Mhm.
and I don't even remember the last time that I had, spring break, or just a break when I wanted to have a break with them.
Mhm.
I've been to everything that they have at school. Like, I went to their place
Oh,
in
that's
during
nice.
Christmas, and it's just that's been the best part of it. Being able to spend the weekends with them.
Mhm. Steven?
So Anna, tell us about your career and how did you kind of from where you are originally from, excuse me, to your education and to kind of where you are right now in your career and life.
I'm originally from Honduras in Central America,
Okay.
small country in Central America, full of beautiful, great, awesome, hardworking people. And I started my career there doing entertainment and a car show, actually,
Wow.
I was talking about Formula One and NASCAR, the
Uh,
car, all those things, endurance, all those things, and I just started doing it. I always knew that I wanted to do that, but I didn't actually go to school to be a journalist. I actually, I'm afraid to say it. I don't know, but I didn't even finish school. I was
Okay.
studying
Right.
marketing, actually marketing, and then I stopped because it was really expensive for me. I was independent. I've been independent since almost a teenager, and it was either I pay for my school or I pay for my apartment, and so I decided to pay for my apartment. And then when I got on my first opportunity to work on TV, that was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I finally can do it. And I just started like working really hard to just keep growing in the industry. And then when I moved here to the States, my husband just like went and knock on the door of different local stations in Orlando when we moved, and it was just like the old days, that you hand a CD. I don't even know if they make CDs anymore, you know. um, CDs or DVDs or whatever.
yeah.
And someone called me and they said, "Hey, we liked what we saw, and do you want to come and do a casting?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure. When?" And that's how I started in the local station in Orlando. And before I was there for a year, the network called me, and long story short, here I am, like 11, 12 years later, after so many things that you mentioned, Ken, Super Bowls, World Cups, Olympics, everything. So it's been quite a ride.
It definitely has been. I mean, what's interesting is that even though like I said, like I've told you in the past, I really don't speak Spanish, but I'm always interested in seeing other things. And one night, I just happened to, I didn't get Telemundo. I had DirecTV. I had I think Universal was called Mundos at the time. I don't remember.
Uh, I
I
think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mundos.
and you were on, and I'm saying, "Oh my god, who's this person?" And she's delightful. She's on the camera. I think you were doing
Thank
something
you.
for like there was the FIFA Youth World Cup or something like that. And then that's how I first saw you.
Probably.
And then eventually it was Olympics and all that stuff. But I've been following your career, I've been a fan, and you could just tell
Thank
that
you.
you have fun with. It doesn't matter what language, you could just tell you were having fun at whatever you were doing. I think that's the main thing.
Well, I try to have fun all the time. And to me, it's just TV and TV in general. Now have different platforms. So I always say TV, but not necessarily it's TV. It's YouTube. It's digital platforms. Whatever platform you choose to watch, whatever it entertains you. To me, it's just a mission. Like if you're choosing to watch whatever I'm doing, I just want you to have fun. I just want you to forget about your day. If you had a stressful day, I hope I can either at least for 1 second make you forget about whatever happened, and just give you more, I don't know, energy or whatever to go to the next day. And just I'm always just grateful to do what I like to do. And I think whenever we have an audience, whatever that audience is, it's a privilege and we have to take care of it. So I am so happy that you say that, because that's what I want people to get from when they're watching me, to just have fun, to just like just smile, just relax.
Absolutely. Also, too, now let's talk a little bit about Telemundo. You, like I said, you were there for 10 years. December, you decided to leave. What was the decision behind that? What was some of the things that were going on that made you decide that, I know I've been there 10 years, I could stay, but what was the reasons behind your decision to leave?
I wanted to grow. Um, After 10 years, my contract was up. I was in renegotiations, and I love that company. I want to set up that, like, from the get go. I love that network. I love the team. They are amazing. They're beautiful people. There's a lot of good people working there. I just wanted to grow. And I love sports, but I also love entertainment. And I want to do TV, like a regular conventional TV, and I want to keep doing it. But I also want to do other things. I want to launch a podcast. I want to do, eventually, if I ever get an opportunity, I want to do radio. I want to do Facebook, and I want to do TikTok, and I want to do YouTube. Like, I want to have options that I couldn't necessarily have being on Telemundo, because it's a big corporation. There's a lot of political things and power fights between departments. A lot of things go behind the scenes that people not necessarily understand. And I was like, I want to keep working here, but at the same time, I feel like tied up to do a lot of other things. And yes, I know that I am grateful, and I've done a lot, and I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for them. Like, they made me, like literally. I'm like, they made everything for me, but I just wanted more. Like, I wanted to have that freedom to choose. Like, if I want to do a podcast, I don't have to ask permission. Or, like, let's say you texted me last week, "Hey, Anna, you want to come to our show?" And I'm like, "Sure." I
Yeah.
didn't have to go through the whole political things, like, "Can I be on the what is the podcast about?" "Oh, it's about things. Why are you gonna talk about?" "Oh, what?" It would be like a whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's just that, and those are hard decisions, but I didn't want to be on my comfort zone.
Right.
Uh-huh. Was there any particular moment in time at Telemundo where, maybe an incident, or maybe like a particular moment that made you want to do more than what you were able to do at Telemundo?
Oh, very good question. A lot of times, actually. Um, 3 years ago, I wanted to launch a podcast. I wasn't allowed to do it. I
Mhm.
was offered to do something with a radio. I couldn't do it. I would, brands would approach me and to do things on my social media, like brand opportunities, and I couldn't do that. So those things were like, and I loved when I was doing entertainment and sports at the same time, because it was like, um a lot of people are always telling me on my, let's say on my Facebook, they want to see that side of me as a mom or
Mhm.
as a wife or as just like a regular person that loves sports, but also loves music, and movies and things. And they wanted me doing more things like that, like entertainment and sports, but it was very difficult to do both, and whenever I stopped doing both, it was like a heartbreak for me. Like it was good in one part because I could just focus on one thing, and it was really really hard, honestly, to do both, especially with kids, and the schedules were really crazy. But at the same time, I wanted to do till certain point, or like not having the like straight no.
Right.
That was something that's kind of like I didn't like either. What else? um Whenever they started firing a lot of people, that opened my eyes. And you know how whenever you love a company,
Yes.
you think with your mind and your heart, but then you start, like, things get blurry because you have so much love for that company and for that team, that you start losing, like, perspective. At the end of the day, it's a business. It's not personal, it's business. So whenever I saw my friends getting affected by decisions, I was like, whoa. So I started just thinking in different scenarios and things. So I was like, you know what, maybe this is time for me to take a leap of faith and just go and try something different.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really trying to do a lot of investing in yourself, which a lot of people, and take a gamble on yourself, which a lot of people are trying to do in this day and age. Tell us a little bit about what you're planning to do with the YouTube channel, which I found very, very fascinating. By the way, this is how I found out that you left Telemundo, because
How?
for some reason, um, I was on LinkedIn and you wrote an essay about why you decided to leave. And I'm saying, oh, I didn't know this. So I said, I got to reach out to Ana, first of all, to say congratulations. And then, second of all, see what, because we like promoting things and we like to promote people. So we decided, wait, well, let's get Ana on to promote her channel. So tell us, Ana, what the YouTube channel is all about.
To be honest with you, I started doing I wasn't sure if I was going to launch my YouTube channel immediately. I did it because I was like, I'm going to start overthinking
Mhm.
about everything. I'm gonna be like, oh, the studio's not perfect yet. Oh, I don't like the sound completely yet. Oh, I don't like this. I know myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna do it. And I was lucky that my good friend Karim wanted to jump in and do it with me. He goes, "Oh,
I
you
noticed.
you
Yeah.
want me to join you? I can do it." And I'm like, "Are you sure? But are you sure? You have to commit at least 3 months." And he did, and he's liking it. And I was just like, let's just have fun. Let's just not, I didn't plan like, okay, we're going to talk about this and we're going to talk about this. We're like, you know what? Let's just talk about whatever we want. And let's just get there every freaking Monday at
Mhm.
noon or 1 p.m. now. And just talk about whatever we watch during the weekend or whatever it's coming or whatever, and let's just do it just to give the audience, like the audience that's following us, something like saying, hey, yes, I left the conventional TV, but you can watch me in this platform, and I'm learning to do other stuff, like editing or whatever, and I'm gonna start my TikTok, and I'm gonna start doing posting stories and analysis and things like that. And so that's how I started doing it. And and now I've been, just uploading videos about things that I'm passionate about, like, let's say, women's soccer. In whenever you have Telemundo is not a sports network, so the programming around sports is very limited. So that time, with the amount of time that we had, we would never speak freely about a lot of subjects that we wanted to cover. So I started, you know what? The Women's Gold Cup is coming, and that is amazing. And I applaud that CONCACAF is doing that. So I'm going to do that. Probably no one is going to watch me because it's CONCACAF Gold Cup, blah blah blah. And but to be honest with you, a lot of people liked it, and I said, please
Great.
tell me if you like this content so I can continue doing it, because I really think that the women's soccer during the Olympics is going to be great. So if you like this content, I'm going to do it again during the Olympics. And they say they liked it, so I'm doing it.
Fantastic. Speaking of that, and of course, we're going to get to the video that we referenced earlier that I put on Twitter earlier today. Is there a particular moment from the time you were at Telemundo? I mean, I know you did the Olympics in 2016. You also did the Olympics in 2021 in
2020.
Tokyo, and also the
Yes.
Winter Olympics. Of course, all those World Cups that you did. Is there any particular moment that springs out to you when in your travels that sticks out to you? And when it comes time in Paris, are you going to miss that time being with your Telemundo compadre?
Oh, to me, like, oh, that's it's so hard because there's so many great memories. But I would have to say, like, if I had to do like a top three, I definitely Qatar would be
Mm,
one of my favorites. Qatar 2022, it was just magic. It was just perfection. It was
great
just
World Cup.
like the whole team. It was like having a dream team before they dismantle it. It was like having a dream team, and we were just having fun, and we were like, they would pick us up. I think it's 8:30 in the morning, and we would come back to the hotel like around 2 a.m., and we would still be talking about soccer. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? We've been talking about soccer all day. And we would, like, at the end of the day, and we would be discussing things and stuff. And then whenever we went to the knockouts, the knockout rounds, we would still be like together, at the end of the day at the bar, drinking a glass of wine, and just talking about the day's games, and predictions of the next one. And it was a beautiful team. So that's one of my highlights. um Definitely that show, the Telemundo Rio show. That's one of my highlights as well. And what else? What else? I have to say, I think Tokyo 2020,
Mhm.
even though it was in 21 with the whole pandemic, and we were literally like in a bubble for like 14 or 15 days. We were a small team. We had so much fun, and we were like friends from prison, like, I go to war and I go with you. So that's another one. But yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. But if I have to choose three, I think it would be those.
Mhm.
Mhm. How did that experience in Tokyo, kind of helped you out? Because obviously the pandemic was still very much in its early stages in 2021. Uh, the Tokyo Olympics wasn't exactly well received or was supported
Hmm.
by the Japanese public either. Back when it was chosen, there was it was 2 years shortly after the whole earthquake that happened with the nuclear
Yeah.
disasters, and there was so many you know
Yeah.
things being said about the earthquakes, and then the pandemic, and and all and so forth. Um, was there any particular moment that stood out to you while you were in Japan, whether it's the country of Japan or whether it was just the whole vibes, throughout the the competition, and how the competitors from all over the world dealt with the whole having a massive international events in such a chaotic situations.
Yeah, I think it was, I don't know, maybe being there was different. I feel like every time there's a big event, there's always stories around it of people that don't want to have the event.
Right.
If you remember Rio, or if we go even back to the World Cup in 2014 in Brazil, there were lots of things happening, and when it comes to the World Cup in Russia, it was a whole thing around it, and in Qatar, my gosh, everything that was said about Qatar, and I was with that without those expectations of everything that was said around the events, and then when I was there, it was different. To me, and the Japanese people are just lovely. They're just amazing. They were so welcoming, and they were so respectful about their rules and enforcing, their rules, but at the same time, so understanding of every person point of view or cultures or anything. So the people, definitely, I would say the Japanese people, that was my favorite thing, even though we didn't have much contact, actually, because it was just like it was like this, like a bubble. I remember the first time that there was this app. We would be getting tested every day, and there was this app that would follow you everywhere, whatever, and the moment that app told you you're free to go, to move around the country or whatever, I remember the first time that thing was green, you can go out. We were like, yes! We went on the train. We went everywhere, and we would be like, hey, how do we go to this place or that place? And the Japanese, they were so good. So good people. They were so welcoming, and they're so nice, and even telling us, look, that place is closed, but you should check out this one, or and when it comes to the athletes, I think though those Olympics, in my heart, are always going to be one of the best, because when it comes to Olympic athletes, and that's why to me Olympics are, it's one of the best like global tournaments, because they don't get the attention that the soccer gets, like, let's say, every year, or whatever, basketball, soccer, and the Olympic athletes, they are working so hard for 4 years to get that big event, and they get there, and they don't have people in the stands, and that plays with your mind,
Right.
and they were so resilient, and so, like, this is going to be what's going to bring joy to many. And I think even for Japanese people, they did it. I remember, I think it was Jun Endo, one of Tokyo Japanese soccer players.
Right.
She said that, I remember when this horrible thing happened, and we couldn't even leave our house, and now the fact that I get to be in a big event, and I think the athletes brought that joy and hope. So I could say on and on and on and on, talking about the Tokyo Olympics, but
Right.
I would say those are my kind of like my highlights.
Absolutely. Now, I referred to this earlier, and I played it earlier on Twitter. Let's play this little video that happened back in 2016, and I'll go a little. It's really funny because on it back in 2016, started watching your show on Telemundo. Like I said, didn't quite understand the language, but I just knew I wanted to see something different. I was not very happy with NBC's coverage, at the time.
Poor
And
Ryan Seacrest.
I know. Well, let's get to that in a second. Ryan Seacrest was hosting the late night show on NBC, and I didn't like his coverage. It just didn't appeal to me, but I really liked your coverage on Telemundo because you were showing highlights, you were showing events, and that's what I wanted to see. And you and Kareem were both co-hosting at the time. And I said on Twitter, I said, I would much rather watch Telemundo than watch Ryan Seacrest's show. And the producer at the time was on Twitter, and he said, I'm going to give you a live shout out. And I'm thinking, oh, well, that's nice. But, I've seen that before. Nothing's going to happen. And my head is typing away on my iPad for an article that I'm writing for Awful Announcing. And then all of a sudden I hear my name. So knowing that, I'm going to play this video here. I'm going to share it for you. And you and Kareem are there. And we'll explain it in just a little second. It is so funny. It is actually Telemundo.
Tengo un saludo que nos están viendo de todas partes. Incluso gustan más de esa transmisión que la que está en inglés en nuestra cadena hermana NBC.
Ryan Seacrest.
Le queremos mandar un saludo. We want to send you a very hello to Ken Fang. A very hello to Ken Fang. Ken. Hi, Ken. Thank you for watching Telemundo, my friend.
Thank you, Ken.
Aquí hablamos inglés todo. Let's go, Phelps, all the way.
Somos trilingües.
Okay. ¿Qué tú dijiste? Ya volvemos. Volvemos, ¿eh? Estamos en vivo. Tengo un saludo que nos está...
That was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. Can you explain what exactly your thinking was when you heard that you have to do a live shout out to a viewer? What was your thinking at that time?
First of all, shout out to Enrique Bertran. He was our producer back then with that show. And Enrique, he goes, "Hey guys, guess what? We have a lot." He speaks like that, by the way. I do a very good Enrique. I called him Garfield because he's always like this. What's up, bro? It's like, so he goes, "Hey guys, guess what? We have a lot of people that don't speak Spanish, but they're watching, and there's this specific guy that caught my attention because he's Asian." And I'm like, "An Asian?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's probably back. I have Asian friends." And they don't understand what I'm saying, but I'm like, "Back, you have to watch me," or Lynn, or like my Asian friends. And I'm like, "Oh, that's probably back," or whatever in my head, And he goes, no, his name is Ken Fang, and I'm gonna show you what he posted, da da da. And we're like, "Oh, that's so cool, that's so nice." And actually, I think it was after one of your awful announcing reports. I don't know how it happened, but I think I'm pretty sure. I don't want to say something that is not correct, but I think that after you wrote something about our show, comparing it to Ryan Seacrest's show, we started getting more people that don't speak Spanish watching us, especially boxing fans, because they couldn't get the broadcast of the boxing fights,
Yes.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. And you mentioned like the things that we were showing that he wasn't and stuff. And we started getting more people, and we were like, "Man, this guy's so cool." And another thing is, for us, it was the end of the day. That show, it was at midnight.
Yes.
From 12 to 2 a.m.
Yes. I watched
we were Yeah, and our days, at least my days, started back then. I think it was at some days at 11 a.m., another days at 1 p.m., but it was like long days, So at the end of the day, we were just like, let's have fun. We didn't get to go to Rio, so we do whatever we want. Let's just do it. And we started just having fun, and people would start commenting. And actually, I wanted to say something nice to you, but I couldn't stop laughing about Karim's
laughing a lot. I thought you were making fun of me.
I know, I laugh a lot. And especially with his jokes because he's so funny. But his English, he says he told I told him that I was speaking with you tonight, and he told me, hey, tell him my English is better. It improved a lot. Still the same. No, it got better. But I just started laughing. Like I want to say a very good hello. What is that? A very good hello. What the heck is that? So I just started laughing. And actually after that, Enrique goes, Anna, push Karim. Push Karim more to speak English because I couldn't stop laughing. And I'm like, I can't because I won't stop laughing. I'm gonna get in trouble. And he goes, no, bro, nobody's watching us. Nobody meaning our bosses, you know?
Right.
No, bro, just do it. Nobody's watching us. And I'm like, okay. So I started just like pushing him to speak English. And he did just like, he said, like craziness after craziness after craziness. So after that, we came up with with this segment that we called Mr. USA. So I would say I need to say this to, let's say, Michael Phelps, okay? Michael Phelps. And I would say it in Spanish, and Karim would translate it in English. And people loved it. And it was after that shout out to you. So we owe you a lot, Ken.
Let me just tell you, I noticed that you did started doing a lot more shout outs to English speaking fans who were watching. So one of them was Doug Pucci, who actually got that clip for me, and now I have that clip. So every once in a while, I'll play that. So I have to give out shout out to Doug Pucci,
Nice.
who I think he did, and actually Karim did a very nice shout out to him. He's known as Son of the Bronx on Twitter, but he did a shout out to him. But I have to give a shout out to Doug, who archived that clip, and I now have it. So
Nice.
so it was one of my favorite moments. I wanted to ask you before we let you go, Anna, what exactly you talk about what you're doing on YouTube. Is there a particular time that you're on every day, or is it going to be every week? What exactly is on right now?
For that show with Karim is every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Mhm.
We talk, like, let's say today, we always say in our minds that it's going to last 20 to 30 minutes, and we always end up there for an hour. Like, let's say today we were talking about Mike Tyson at 57 is going to have a fight on freaking Netflix. Like, that's like boom
That's right.
to
Yeah.
us. Like, oh
Yes,
my
yes.
gosh, like the future is here. With Jake Paul, I want him to just like punch him really good. And we were talking about CONCACAF Champions Cup and Messi and Luis Suarez with Inter Miami. And what else we talked about, like Liga MX. Sometimes we talk about NFL, whatever is happening that caught our attention. And then the other days, I am just like uploading videos of other news, sports news, and I don't have like a specific schedule for that. The only schedule is right now that show with Karim Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. But let's say this Thursday, there's CONCACAF Nations League. The U.S. plays Jamaica at 7 p.m. and then at 10 it's Mexico against Panama. So the end of the day, like at around midnight, I'm gonna go I'm gonna go live on Facebook and YouTube and talk about whoever made it to the final. So I really don't have a schedule set. I'm doing whatever the heck I want, and I love it.
That's
Yeah,
great.
that's good. That's good.
Stephen,
So,
one more
go ahead,
question.
Ken. I apologize. I wasn't
Go ahead.
cutting.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Okay, so obviously your specialty seems to be soccer right now. With the Copa America coming up very, very shortly, and the World Cup in a couple of years, certainly the three countries, U.S., Canada, and Mexico, have a lot of pressure to host this big event, which now has expanded to about 48 countries right now. Where are you right now in terms of soccer in the United States, which right now MLS is doing their darnest to of course, expand the game itself, but it seems as though they're not really doing a banged up job, despite having Messi and the, a contract with Apple TV, but there's, only a handful of teams only participating in the U.S. Open Cup. And then there's the, strike with the referees and the refs. I want to know from your vantage point about soccer here in the U.S. and what is the perception among the Latinos and also mixed American fan base.
I think it has grown a lot, and that's thanks to different things. It's kind of it's been like a teamwork without being a teamwork necessarily. Like, let's say the MLS has done a great job with a young players. I feel like we see more young players and better position career wise, thinking like long term and future for MLS players than a lot of other teams from Liga MX, or before we used to see a lot of like the old ones coming to MLS when they were about to retire in Europe, and now we see younger very good players. Like let's say we talk about Messi. Yes, Messi, I'm sorry, he's different. He's just different. But we can say Thiago Almada, or Luis Suarez. Yes, probably he's at the end of his career. But what about Hugo Lloris? Like it's getting there. At the same time, this let's say this CONCACAF Champions Cup. I think that if you see the matchups, the only one that I see a big difference between one and the other is the one I think it's New England Revolution against America. But then the rest are really pretty good matchups, and I feel like people are getting more into the game, like the fans, because they're getting a better product, and the fact that Apple invested so much in getting the rights for the MLS, it's helping too. And Messi definitely helped a lot because everyone wants to know what's happening with him, and you get a lot of people that never watch MLS and now are paying attention. And the fact that we are going to have here in the U.S. the Copa America, the Club World Cup coming in 2025, and then the World Cup, that helps a lot. And when it comes to the soccer in the U.S., like let's say the national team, it's full of great players, like very, very good players that are actually playing overseas, playing in Europe, and they're not just part of the team. They're actually playing in those teams, big teams. And when you compare the U.S. with the Mexican team, a lot of the ones that are in Europe are in bad teams, like small teams, or they're not getting the amount of minutes that other ones are getting. I think if the U.S. sorry about Greg Berhalter, I think if they had a better coach, they would be like, this could be like, they could be the surprise for the next World Cup. They have the talent, and I think it's gonna be a great World Cup.
Stephen and I have had our issues with Greg Burkhalter, and we're not going to. We don't have enough time to talk about.
Right. By the way, there was a good article posted, unfortunately through ESPN Plus. Jeff Carlisle, the soccer reporter, posting this question about, is Greg Berhalter a good coach? It's I haven't read it yet, but it is as Ken mentioned, we've had our issues and regarding Berhalter, and I had a soccer guest on, tactical manager, who, by the way, is somebody from your neck of the woods in Orlando, by the way, that maybe you could bring on, to talk about soccer moving on. He's Brazilian, by the way, and that it's an issue that splits the the U.S. Soccer fan base. And we'll just find out. This Copa America, there's no question, this is a big challenge now.
It's hard. It's hard to be a coach. That's why I try to always give them the benefit of the doubt, especially when it comes to Berhalter. He made a lot of decisions before the World Cup in Qatar that I didn't like. But if the players are happy with him, it's a tough decision for the federation, because when the whole Gio Reyna thing happened, you can hear the players backing him, like saying, "Hey, SHIT happens, but we are a team. We're with him." So if the team wants him, at the end of the day, you can have a great coach, but if the players don't support him, you don't get to go far, even if it's Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho. So that's why, to me, it's kind of like, that subject, you can go on and on. But that's just my personal opinion. I think that they should have a better coach.
Yeah. Are you one of those people who were kind of disturbed and bothered by the fact that Berhalter's, so-called domestic violence allegation came up and it wasn't really taken a lot more seriously? Or was it one of those things that, happened almost 30 years ago, bygones be bygones?
It's a sensitive subject for sure, especially when someone says that there's violence, but it happened 30 years ago. I am not the same person that I was 80 years ago. I'm a different person now. People change, and he has his marriage seems to be doing good. His wife forgave him. It was after the whole thing. I'm like, you never know what really happens when it comes to a marriage. Never. So to me, that when it comes to those things, I'm like, I would really have to see what happened, how it happened, when, where, like the whole thing. I'm not saying that it was okay. Like, I want to set that clear. I'm not saying it was okay, but after I heard him talking about it, and after reading all those pages of the investigation, I'm like, you know what? It happened a long time ago. So you cannot hold that against him anymore. Like, if you are going to make a decision about his position, it has to be based on his work. If that happened, let's say last year, that's a different story, and that could have been a great opportunity to use it and say, okay, we get rid of him. But at the same time, it's like, just because, let's say, Ken publishes something that Ana mistreated her husband or her kids or whatever, blah, 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 and then it's proven that it's not true. Like, I feel like now everyone is guilty until you prove innocent. You're proven innocent, and I want to believe that it's the opposite. I want to believe that you can have the chance to say, hey, that show me proofs, show me that I really did this, show me that there is really a problem, so it's a long conversation for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Ana Jurka, you're as always. I'm so happy we finally got to talk face to face.
Thank
Well,
you,
I mean, I
Ken.
know we're in different cities, but it's finally we finally get to talk for. It's been 10 years, way too long. We'll make sure it's not 10 years again. We'll definitely have you on again as we get closer to the Olympics and the Olympic soccer. And we definitely have you on because like you mentioned, we don't have to go through Telemundo Deportes PR. Very easy to text you and just say, hey, we'd like to have you come on. And it was so quick. You just said, I'm going to come on. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Friends for life. Thank you so much. And good luck with the YouTube channel. And we will definitely keep in touch. And like I said, we'll have you on as we get closer to the Olympic soccer tournament. And we'd love to have you on. And maybe we'll have Kareem on as well.
Oh, awesome. I want to see him speaking English. Oh my gosh. Stephen, remember this. You are going to laugh.
Yes.
But you know what? But he's doing better. He's doing better. And he started classes actually
Okay.
like a month ago. And I'm like, oh really? He goes, yeah, man, it's I'm doing better. And guess what? They say I'm advanced. And I'm like, really? Yes, I'm advanced. And then they pulled me aside and they told me I'm way better than advanced. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Where is the school again? And he goes, in Hialeah. Hialeah, Florida is like, it's a very interesting place. And I'm like, oh, now I get it. In Hialeah, of course, of course. But yeah, Stephen, I promise you're going to laugh with Karim and you're going to love him. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. But yeah, anytime you want to talk about soccer, please. I'm just a call away, and Copa America is coming. It's going to be exciting, and the Olympics for sure. So anytime.
And not only that, maybe we'll also talk about pop culture because that seems like that seems to be up your alley as well. So we'd be more than happy to have you on, Ana. Thank you so much, and good luck with the YouTube channel. And like I said, we will definitely keep in touch, and we will talk face to face and sooner than 10 years. How's that?
Yes. Thank you. Nice meeting you, Stephen. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ana. It was a pleasure having you on, and we hope to have you on our live stream channel once again.
Bye.
Bye now.
All right. Take care. Good luck to you in your future endeavors. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ana. She's a delight. And you
was,
can tell.
and, it was a very fun conversation with Ana Jurka, and good luck to her in her YouTube channel, and also hopefully those watching us will be able to subscribe to her YouTube channel, which I just posted earlier, and then also her X and her website that you're seeing scrolling at the bottom of the channel as well.
And, this is I think the highest viewership that we have had
yes,
we started this live stream. So thank you for all the people who are attracted to see who came on to see Ana, and we certainly hope that you like what you see and you keep coming back for us, because we're on every Monday night, usually around between 8 o'clock Eastern time. So certainly we'd love to have you stay with us.
Right. And hopefully you'll subscribe to our X channel, our handle on Twitter. And I posted about the upcoming shows on my Twitter handle mostly as well. I do specifically the Chicago Bears talk as well with my friends. And I have another one, preview for starting tomorrow that I've already posted on Twitter handle. When I was also announcing tonight's show with Ana Jurka. So make sure that hopefully you guys will follow us and subscribe to our channel. It's a very simple channel. It's a Ken's personal channel, but something that we definitely are going to work on. Maybe having a standalone channel. We've discussed this. We've also, maybe spice up the current channel that Ken has that's posted that we've been doing a live stream since last year as well. So hopefully, you'll come back and enjoy our content moving forward. All right, Ken. Let's talk about the big sports news over the weekend. It is the NCAA tournament preview. So many games, conference championships, tournaments took place.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff, without a doubt. And we finally have all 68 teams finally lined up now, and I'm going to try and pull up the brackets in a minute. But Ken, what are your some of the early storylines with regards to this year's tournament that you're keen on following?
Well, let's talk about the men first, then we'll talk about the women. We'll go up until, let's see, we'll go for maybe about 15 more minutes before we go off the air. But let's talk a little bit about the men's here. UConn, definitely the number one overall seed. They have a chance to repeat. They have a very tough bracket, even though they don't have to travel far. They're going to be playing their first two games in Brooklyn, and then the Eastern Regional Final, if they get that far, will be in Boston, so they don't have to get on a plane until they go to the Final Four. So while UConn definitely has a chance to be basically, quote-unquote, at home, they're going to have to go through a very tough road. They're going to have to go through a lot of conference champions that are in their region. You can see, it's going to be tough to see there, but you also have Houston, another number one seed, which has a much easier road. Purdue is the shakiest number one seed to me. Of course, they lost last year to Fairleigh Dickinson, the 16 seed. I don't think that's going to happen again this year, but I do think Purdue is going to be easy to knock off. Zach Edey, I think if they can find a way, whatever defenses play Purdue, I think they're primed to be knocked off. And the other number one seed is North Carolina. They are out west. I do think they have a chance to also advance, but to me, I think that we are going to see three number one seeds in the Final Four, at least for me this year. What about you, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm very curious to see, how the top seeds handle their brackets. There's no question. The quality of NCAA, has kind of, I don't want to diminish the game itself, but last year we saw UConn won the title with 8 losses, and you look at the blue bloods like Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, and even North Carolina. They all have 6, 7, 8 losses, even 9 losses. So only a handful of teams, like UConn and Houston, have 3 or 4 losses. And Houston got themselves blown out against Iowa State in the Big 12, championship over the weekend. So, it is a, just a wild tournament. I think that, there could be some, upsets that, that we should be, that we have to keep an eye on. There's no question about that. Actually, UConn is in the same, if all goes well, they could face San Diego State in the Sweet 16 as well. So that's an interesting storyline. I'm an Illinois fan, and I have been very much frustrated with the way that Illini has played this year at times. But they really impressed over the weekend, winning all their games, 3 straight games, coming back from like a double digits and winning the Big Ten tournament. So I'm definitely hoping that they can finally break through and get to the second week or even longer there as well. It's an interesting bracket. West North Carolina. Here 8-9 Mississippi and Michigan State. Two bubble teams. Making it. Michigan State was kind of a surprise choice there. Long Beach State, Dunn Munson was supposed to leave after the tournament was over. Lo and behold, they ended up winning their own conference, and now they have to face Arizona as a reward. So, that's an interesting battle there. You mentioned Purdue. they're not exactly their tournament history doesn't really spark confidence. But hopefully, with Zach Edey being their last tournament, they can finally slay their demons and get far enough to maybe make it to the Final Four and So, and I think a couple of interesting nuggets. There were some tournament teams who were probably maybe thinking that they were going to get in. St. John's or Providence.
Providence
certainly
deserve to get in. Providence. Let's just put this right. I know Kim English denounced the
analytics. Yes,
and yes, they did have a lot of quad one wins, but they also had a lot of bad losses in the middle of the season. They also lost their bright star early in the season in the first Big East game of the year. So I Kim English did not really give me, and I know I have an anti-Providence bias having gone to the University of Rhode Island, but I don't think Providence deserved to get in. St. John's did not deserve to get in. Neither team deserved to get in. Yes, there were some big stealers. North Carolina State went on a 5-game in 5 days run in winning the ACC championship, defeating some very good teams along the way, including Virginia. They also defeated in the semifinals North Carolina as well. Syracuse on that a magical run. But let me just put it this way. If you want to, sometimes you just can't leave any doubt. And the only way to do is win. And Providence didn't get the job done, at least in the middle of the season. Yes, they got hot a little bit later on. But you know what? People say that the regular season doesn't mean much in the college basketball. But when you lose some bad games, Stephen, like Providence did in the middle of the season, and also St. John's, you're going to leave. If you're going to leave it up to the committee and you get knocked out, you have only yourself to blame. So I'm just going to say that right now. And yes, the Big East only got 3 teams, and Dayton got in. They were the regular season champs of the Atlantic 10. They lost in the Atlantic 10 tournament, but and yes, they had a lower net rating than some of those Big East teams, but they deserve to get in because they got the job done during the regular season. So I don't think these Big East teams have any reason to complain. If you're gonna complain, win. That's all I got to tell you. Win and get in, and don't leave any doubt. And that's what North Carolina State did. They knew that they weren't going to, if they didn't get on this run, they knew that they weren't going to get to the NIT. They weren't going to go to the college basketball invitational tournament. They had to win and get in, and that's exactly what happened. And yes, they stole a bid, but hats off to North Carolina State for getting the job done.
Absolutely, and some conspiracy theorists would say that they were intentionally maybe not chosen because of this article that was written by Stuart Mandel, a very good college sports writer for The Athletic, about SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey wanting to expand the team. And we've been hearing some rumblings about expanding the tournament to maybe 68 to maybe 80. And, you have teams like, Indiana State with a higher KenPom rating being, left out. And,
they were definitely snubbed. They should have been in. They should have
right, got snubbed out. And, obviously in Mandel's article, it should be about maybe wanting more P4 schools getting in more now that the Pac-10 unfortunately no longer exists after this year.
Right.
So, it's just basically the haves and have-nots that we are starting to probably expect more of that with the college football now trying to be played out in the college basketball now, because you want to see the more money involved, and you want more teams involved, which unfortunately could dilute the product itself. So maybe this is some sort of a strengthening the argument for maybe having more P4 teams that are left out, and Big East teams, of course, as well. You have a high profile coach like Rick Pitino openly complained about the process, even though
he's got to shut up. He's got to shut up.
Well, he won't shut up, of course. I get it. But we know that Pitino is a big name in college basketball, despite his history of troubles and sanctions wherever he's gone to, with Kentucky, Louisville, and of course, Providence, where he got his start, back in the 80s, back then, of course. But, maybe this is, the way of our, arguing about, at least strengthening the expansion of the NCAA tournament, whether we like it or not, because we certainly are seeing that with the college football now, with 12 and 14 team playoffs, and then the rumblings about Big Ten and SEC, who is now leading the college football revolution, wanting to get a bye and stuff like that. So it's unfortunate what we're seeing in college football is likely to get played out in college basketball, and it is unfortunately going to get ugly moving forward. Ken,
let's talk a little bit now about the women's tournament. Of course, the overall number one seed, South Carolina, hoping for another undefeated season. They were defeated by Iowa last year in the Final Four. They're looking for revenge. They feel they have a better team. Most of the team that was coached by Don Staley's last year's team has left, but she retooled, and they're even better, and they're going to be a threat to go all the way to the Final Four this year in Cleveland. Iowa, they while they are a number one seed, also they look pretty shaky because they have LSU, the defending national champion, in their bracket. Also, they seem to have a very, very tough road. Also, in addition, you have USC, which has the heir apparent to Caitlin Clark and Juju Watkins. She was fantastic in the Pac-12 tournament last week, Stephen. Big star, definitely someone to watch. She's going to go to the Big Ten next year. Because they defeated Stanford, Stanford got knocked out of a number one seed that's going to be out in Portland in the regional, and they were replaced by Texas as a number one seed. So definitely a wide open tournament, definitely a lot of talent. South Carolina right now, I would take the field over South Carolina, but South Carolina is going to be very tough to defeat, especially with the way they played. Also, one thing we didn't mention, Stephen, we couldn't talk about while you were gone last week. Don't forget that South Carolina and LSU got into a little bit during the SEC final. You can see that rivalry perhaps playing out, especially if those two teams meet in the Final Four. I would definitely love to see that, but definitely some great storylines, especially this being Caitlin Clark's last year. If they can get to the Final Four, they're going to have their road in Albany too is going to be very tough. South Carolina, I think, has an easier road. I think Stanford is going to be very motivated out in Portland too, because they should have been a number one seed and got knocked off only because they lost to USC in the Pac-12 final. And it's going to be a fun tournament to watch.
Absolutely. Women's basketball has never been more popular this year, thanks to Caitlin Clark. There's no question this is her final year in college basketball. There's no question how far she can take the Iowa Hawkeyes in this tournament would be something to keep an eye on. And unfortunately, Kim Mulkey, you mentioned LSU's combative head coach, had her tiff with rival SEC South Carolina, which really became ugly, and once again just reveal what a vile and unlikable person she is. And I'm just keeping an eye on whether Kim Mulkey will refuse to shake hands with an opponent, player or coach, or she says something vile that will likely get more attention outside of basketball, which is probably more than likely. So we'll see what happens. Those are the two important, interesting storylines on women's basketball moving forward as well. All right, Ken, listen, before we close out the show, I have to say something that happened to me over the weekend. I'm going to be focusing, of course, on the Bears conversation tomorrow night on my show that I normally do on Tuesday nights with Bears YouTuber Rashab Shakiri. That I don't know if he's still undetermined to join, but we'll post the guests in a little bit. But over the weekend, Justin Fields got traded, and Justin Fields' conversation was very, very competitive and divisive, not just in Chicago, but also among the Bears fans all across the country. And, largely I kind of stayed away from the whole conversation because, to be honest, I would have been fine with either, Fields coming back or Williams being drafted, which I totally understood because General Manager Ryan Poles did not draft Justin Fields. And, you don't want to, get fired or tie yourself to a quarterback that you did not draft. I won't mention this person's name. It is a very famous radio personality in the Chicago area. This person had been leading the charge of Caleb Williams' camp pretty much since maybe October or November, And over the weekend, probably yesterday, I kind of probably not largely don't like this person, to be honest. And I thought what this person on Twitter looked like he was taking a kind of a victory lap or dance about Fields being finally traded, and now it's Caleb Williams. I get it, but I didn't like it, and then I kind of accused him that he's one of those people that will likely, rip Caleb Williams behind closed doors, using racial slurs. So I implied that this person is a racist. Needless to say, this person did not take it very, very well, and I immediately realized it was a bad mistake on my part. I sent a DM to this person, and apologizing, and then I kind of explained in great detail that drafting Caleb Williams is not exactly a slam dunk, given the Bears' bad reputation of drafting and developing quarterbacks, in which I thought it was not mentioned or not being talked enough about from all parts of the media. And needless to say, this person did not accept my apologies, which I understand. It was a bad move on my part. And, I ended up becoming, one of those Bears fans who became very, very toxic and attacked the other fan base, Fields fans attacking Williams fans and vice versa. Now, that doesn't make me one of those Fields stands, so-called. But again, I learned a very important lesson about, how not to do, the Twitter etiquette. This is, one of those moments that I feel very, very regrettable about what I did. Ironically, I wrote on Bear Goggles On over the weekend that was published about, the winners and losers of the Justin Fields trade. And I mentioned about the fans because of how toxic and divisive it was, involving sexism and sometimes racism. So I'm deeply ashamed. And I understand that this, personality will never forgive me. And I totally get it. I'll probably never come across this person in person or on air. So I'm just going to learn. And, I spoke with you, Ken, full disclosure yesterday about what happened. And, you certainly, had your experiences as well. And it was a very, very, an eye-opening that you also had something similar early on in your career. And it was also a learning experience for you. And, and it's something that I will greatly take and never to make that same mistake again.
Well, let me just say this. I think that you'll learn from it. You grow from it. You know that what you did wrong. But the best thing, you did apologize. You reached out to this person. It's up to him whether he accepts it or not. That's fine. But
well, he did make it clear he doesn't accept apologies. So
that's fine. That's
fine. I understand.
But you reached out. You did the right thing, and you'll learn from it. I totally. I know that you got emotional as a Bears fan. As a Browns fan, I get over emotional as well. But I think you'll learn from it. You know your limits, and you just have to move on from it and be a better person from it, Steven. So that's the thing I can say to you. And I know who the person you are over the last 3 years that we've been on this show together. You are a caring person, and I think that like I said, you learn from it and you move on. And I think that you'll know better of what not to do in the future. I think you'll be fine.
Right. You and I both started this show at a time, when Asian American Pacific Islanders were under a heavy attack because of the COVID. And former President Donald Trump always used the racist term, Kung Fu virus or China viruses, which sparked so much racist attacks. And we wanted to, hold, at least promote more Asians working in an industry to, promote diversity and also call out, those bad behaviors in sports. And, obviously I have to hold myself to a higher standard. And, I'm very, very sorry for maybe letting you down a little bit, and then maybe perhaps not holding my end of the bargain after what happened yesterday.
Like I said, you learn from it. You did the right thing by reaching out to this person and apologizing. It's up to him to accept it, and that's fine. We'll move on. But Stephen, on that note, we're going to end the show. We'll be back again next week. We'd like to thank Ana Jurka for coming on with us. Fantastic and delightful person. This has been our highest viewership since we started this live stream.
Thank you.
You can see you can see right there her banner, the YouTube channel. She does a live stream with Karim Mandaburu, her former co-host over at Telemundo. They're doing a live stream every Monday at 1:00 Eastern time, just like we do a stream here at 7:30 or 8:00 Eastern time, depending on our availability. But we certainly hope that you liked what you see. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is at KZF1 on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching us. We will be on again next week to talk about a little bit about the first weekend of both the men and the women's NCAA tournament. Plus, if there's anything happens in the NFL. By the way, Stephen and I, you got a little preview. Stephen is a big Bears fan. Even despite the fact that I live in New England, I'm a big Cleveland Browns fan. So we talk about Browns, we talk about the Bears, we talk about the NFL, and we talk about a lot of sports. So thank you very much for watching. You didn't drop off when Anna left. We thank you very much for staying with us. So keep watching and come back with us again next Monday at around 7:30 Eastern time or 8:00. I'm Ken Fang. He's Stephen Negishi. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next week.